What is something that is accepted now that will most likely not be in 10 years? Honestly, alcohol consumption, at least in North America. I tend bar and I notice more and more people, especially those in their 20s, going for non-alcoholic options, especially since COVID. I think it's a combo of weed becoming more accessible and people learning more about the adverse effects of alcohol dependence, binge drinking, suspecting it will go the way of the cigarette still used but much less common and more stigmatized. For a majority of businesses here in the United States of America, staying open on significant holidays. Just in this most recent Easter Sunday, I saw more places closed than I've ever seen on Easter 10 years ago. Almost everything that was open on a Sunday was open on Easter too. The more it's seen as not socially acceptable to be open on big holidays, the more places will continue to close on these days. NT on anyone who deviates, or ever has deviated from their rule book, will find themselves on the wrong side of the future morality police their future counterparts over something they're doing today. The real truth is the blood-sucking insectoid creatures from underground is what they are covering up. The Russians wrote a 150-page scientific paper analyzing their bodies, cellular structure, and did autopsies. The video of the guy poking one with a stick is real. They live on human blood. This is the truth that they can't reveal. It's just too scary for people to know they exist. Employers being able to muck with a worker's sleep pattern at the drop of a hat by switching them from day shifts to night shifts and vice versa all the time. It's not something that affects me, but I've got a few friends that have jobs like that, and it astounds me that people's sleep patterns can be messed with so severely, so often. It can't be healthy. Not having social media, I fear we will become dumber as a species. The smart will conform and assimilate out of fear or FOMO, fear of missing out pressure. How many people you know today that read books for fun? And how many people you knew 5 years ago that read for fun? I bet less. Recent counts sad, right? The invasion of privacy by tech companies through data mining and tracking might become less tolerated as people become more aware of the value and vulnerability of their personal information. There will likely be a pushback against companies that exploit user data without clear consent. Tolerance of those who accept conspiracy theories. There's always has and will be fringe ideology, and it ebbs and flows over the decades, but we're at the high-end moon-back crazy conspiracy believers. I believe people with critical thinking abilities will help drive them down for a while. Excessive work hours and the glorification of being busy. There's a growing movement towards work-life balance, mental health, and the realization that overworking doesn't equate to productivity. The current acceptance of 60-hour workweeks will hopefully be a thing of the past. The traditional 5-day school week might be reevaluated. Thoughts evolve and the importance of mental health and personalized learning becomes more recognized. Alternative schooling schedules that promote a more balanced life for students could become the norm. Freedom of expression, COVID chaos, and the willingness of major media and government to suppress and threaten dissent should be very worrying. Truth Ministry, or whatever they wanted to roll out, showed how comfortable they were to restrict freedoms they deemed unacceptable. Casual smoking in public places is already frowned upon in many areas, but I predict it'll be even more restricted. As we learn more about the dangers of secondhand smoke and vaping, there will likely be tighter controls and less social acceptance of smoking in any form. I treat service workers like royalty. I treat service robot self-checkouts like fucking scum. I've already been yelled at by a human for yelling at self-checkout. Be nice. I can already see the dipshits advocating for our non-meat-based persons. Humans, because we will have been turned into robots. Ellen's competitors make all different kinds of brain-machine interface technologies. Time passes, and now we are cyborgs. Eventually mankind will become more and more robotic, and then we will perish. Poof. The use of cash as a primary method of payment is already declining in favor of digital transactions. With technological advancements, carrying physical money might become an outdated concept, replaced entirely by digital currencies and contactless payments. The use of single-use plastics seems to be on its way out, with increasing awareness of environmental issues and the push for sustainability. I can't see society continuing to accept items like plastic straws, cutlery, and shopping bags in the next decade. Excessive consumption of meat, especially red meat, could fall out of favor due to environmental, ethical, and health concerns. Plant-based diets and lab-grown meats are becoming more mainstream and could redefine what a typical meal looks like. Smoking is bars and casinos in Pennsylvania. In Pennsylvania, if a bar serves little to no food, smoking is permitted in 2024. Smoking is also permitted in most areas of casinos in Pennsylvania. The ability to express your opinion on things. Freedom of speech has a high chance of not being around in the foreseeable future. Unless people wake up, we won't be able to prevent this change. MAGA morons, Trumpo the clown and his fartsuckers. Insulting veterans. Advocating sexual offenses. Calling for acts of treason. Denigrating our military. Betraying constituents. To name a few. Hopefully this new standard on streaming services with even higher prices, and now you have to pay even more than the raised price for a version without ads. Isn't that why streaming took off? This is kind of wishful thinking. But voting with a two-party system, I mean in America we have seen what these two parties can do, and it wasn't much let's see what someone else can do. Somehow I feel like any sort of compliment will be labeled as harassment, and greeting someone in a certain way that's normal now will be considered rude in 10 years, like what's up? Fully gas-powered cars. Most parts of Europe have already put a band-aid set to 2035 for all known hybrids. And they are becoming a niche even in the US as hybrids, and theirs get cheaper. Hopefully bigotry, prejudice against entire groups of people in general. Yeah, there will still be outliers that have those views, but I hope them to be a very insignificant number. Any personal or commercial credit application for, or on behalf of, Donald Trump, any of his businesses, and or related subsidiaries, including those are named in this declaration. Sex shops in Florida. There are 8 massage parlors within walking distance of my house. Most are staffed with traffic girls. It is everywhere here. No way this continues. Use of the insult. Cocksucker. I have a feeling some people are gonna claim that it's based in homophobia. I'm surprised the topic hasn't already come up. Embroidered names on kids' clothes. I can't help but think it's revealing personal info that people may regret sharing. Either that or I'm paranoid. Vaping. Something inside me tells me that it's only a matter of time before someone figures out that vaping makes cigarettes seem like a health fad. The whole genocide narrative in Israel that Qatar is pushing when they themselves are committing genocide against minorities in their country. The modern world used to think lobotomies were a valid and necessary medical procedure for mental illness. You connect the dots from their ... Hopefully transphobia. Though given it's gotten popular to rail against the rest of LGBT by calling it woke, it might go the other way. Husk ASJW. They seem to be deciding what is and what is not. You're a racist, bigot, or misogynist if you're not immediately on board. Having to cancel services by mail in person that you were able to initially sign up for online looking at you. Gym memberships. Having a phone. Everyone is gonna either switch to the AR, or the Neuralink is gonna one day have the ability to act as a phone. Cash is power, so that's most likely gonna go, it will be all digital. And if you're a bold boy, that shit gets turned off. Net zero. More people will have discovered it's a scam and voted wefify you in supporting politicians out of office. It's almost gone. But one call close in-person sales. Like buying a car off a lot or the timeshare type pitch. Abortions. They will be viewed by most for what they are. An evil practice of killing unborn children. US passports you just got now for traveling. It will expire in 10 years and will not be accepted then. Social media. God willing. Trumpism. Christian nationalism. Woke culture and the day grift, widespread atheism, falsehood indoctrinating kids, putting pussy on a pedestal, fake rap music, being called a female or male. Can't wait to see the terms made up in 10-20 years from now. The civic relationship between the general populace and increasingly entitled dog owners. If we want our species to stick around for the next 200 years, hopefully fossil fuels, hopefully a stronger school education system, because what we have now is terrible. Giving a fuck went out the window years ago. It baffles me that people still try. Smoking cigarettes is coming to an end. You could say it's already unacceptable. Personal diesel vehicles, heavy trucks and mid-size used for pleasure and towing, being a Koran. Some of these Gen Z peeps are already humbling them real quick. Passive screen consumption, due to the rise of virtual and augmented reality. Rubles, though to be fair, even now they are not accepted in many places. United States education is going to be seen as ridiculous in 10 years. Internal combustion engines, EU already banning their sale by 2035. Actually owning almost everything subscription-based. Wearing masks in public places, like we're in a hospital 24/7. Posting your kids' pets every waking minute on social media. Single-use plastics like straws, cutlery and shopping bags. Hopefully bigotry and blatant ignorance. But historically, social media, it's so fucking unhealthy to mental health. Freedom from religion in the US. Freedom in general. All the damn chemicals in our food. Hopefully we learn. Eating meat from an animal, maybe not 10 but probably 20.